We are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my dark knights. Let me move this over here. How you beautiful people doing? I'm at my house again, back home. I'm trying this new internet live for the first time. I'm hoping it works. I'm hoping everything runs well. They said with this new internet, everything should be good. Let me move my camera over here so you guys can see, and I can see how many people are here and in here and everything. Okay, what I'm going to do today is I am here it's football season. NFL is officially returned. It is officially back. So I did go over my picks for who I think was going to win go to the Super Bowl. Who do I think is going to win total wise? What they're going to do. But I'm not. We're going to go into more in depth every week. At the end of the week, I normally do a week by week review of the NFL. My thoughts. Fantasy implications, different stuff like that a little bit. But this time I'm going to do it prior. I'm not going to do a review. I'm going to preview it, give some of my matchups, my predictions, and pick each game. You guys are excited for football. Get in this chat. Let's have a great time. Let's have a great live stream. Now, there's a lot of games on Sunday. Week 1, we already had one happen, the Packers and the Bears. I guess I'll start talking about that for a little bit. I was extremely upset. The fact that the Bears lost that game on Thursday. But now that I'm thinking about it, I realize why. None of their offense played any preseason. Mitchell Trubisky, which he should have, considering second year in Matt Nagy's offense. He's still young. He's still developing. He needed to get preseason reps, and he didn't. Tariq Cohen didn't get preseason reps. David Montgomery didn't get preseason reps. None of the offensive line or offensive wide receivers got any reps except for Anthony Miller. None of them. And Anthony Miller ended up getting hurt. So, this was basically like a fifth preseason game, but for our first team and the same thing with the Packers because all the Packers didn't even play a lot in preseason except for maybe Marquez Valdes-Scantling, and he had a decent game. But the one guy that I will say that did surprise me, and if it continues with the numbers that he gets, starting him in fantasy, is Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson actually was the only good guy that looked good on that offense. The defense still looked fantastic. If you have the Bears defense, you're salivating. You're happy. I know I have them in a couple leagues. I'm very happy because I have them. And I'm just happy because the fact that the Bears defense looked really, really good, even though they basically had to play and make up for the offensive mistakes and whatnot. I'm going to sneeze. I hope I don't. Okay. We're good. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, the Packers, they didn't let Aaron Rodgers throw all game, except for one time. And when they did, he got him for the big one. 43-yard bomb to Valdes-Scantling. I think it was Valdes-Scantling. Yeah. And he ended up and then scoring on that touchdown later. And they didn't look back. No, I didn't want to go in depth. Yeah, anyway. But yeah, The defense still looked fantastic, but Allen Robinson looked really, really good. My God. One sec. Okay, sorry. I think me blowing my nose helped. But anyway, Allen Robinson looked fantastic. I can't deny that. Allen Robinson, 7 catches, 102 yards. If that repeats next week in Denver, he may be a valuable starting wide receiver for you if you need a wideout. If you guys need a wideout or a flex and you don't know who to start, Allen Robinson. Throw him in. I mean, the worst you can do is he gives you a dud. Now, the one guy that did disappoint that I was very upset about was Anthony Miller and Geronimo Allison. Neither one of them had a catch or a target. Um, okay. Sorry about that. I had to sneeze a lot. And when I sneeze, I go into these sneezing fits, and again and again and again and again and again and again. And it's annoying, but I'm okay now. So yeah, I hope I'm okay. We'll see. Anyway, back to the Bears and Packers. Anyway, Bears and Packers was a very boring game to watch as well. I really think, to be honest, moving forward, shouldn't even have that Thursday night opener. The last two seasons have proved it. The Eagles and Falcons, if you remember watching that game, it was supposed to be this great hyped up game. And it wasn't even shown. Or it wasn't even that great. And this game wasn't even that great either. But if you love defenses, they were both very good defenses out there. There was some questionable calls, but we're not going to talk about that. Moving on to my picks for this Sunday. We're going to start off with the Titans and the Browns. To me, this is a very interesting game. We see Odell Beckham Jr. in a Browns uniform for the first time. We see Nick Chubb, the emergence of Nick Chubb. If you have Nick Chubb on your fantasy team, you are so happy because he's going to possibly be the fantasy football MVP for the first 8 whatever weeks of the season Kareem Hunt's suspended for. But Titans are no pushover on defense. And I think this is going to be a closer game than what most people think. I'll make my pick and then talk about fantasy implications, who I like in this matchup, who I don't like. I'm going to go with the Titans to upset the Cleveland Browns. I think it's going to be late. It's going to be a late score. It's going to be a work in progress, I think. But they're going to get it together. I think the first week the Browns will lose. But it's going to be a tight. I think it's going to be a tight one. And the reason why I think is because I think Odell Beckham Jr. is going to agitate his hip injury. He's going to go down. And I don't see good numbers. I mean, I do see good numbers coming from Odell if he plays and works through the injury. But if he gets hurt, I'm not really... if you have the Browns wide receivers, Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr., of course you're starting them. I just don't think they're going to have a huge day. I think they're going to have both good days, but I don't think they're going to have huge days. And I honestly think that Nick Chubb is going to be fantastic. He's going to be fantastic every week, no matter what matchup it is. I think Nick Chubb is going to be pretty good. And then Baker, I don't know how I feel about Baker, but I do like him in a week 1 matchup. The Titans' defense is a pretty good defense against the pass, so we're going to find out, but I would start Baker because it's week 1 to see what you got. It's no harm, no foul, really, if you start him. Moving on. Oh, actually, no. We're going to talk about the Titans players as well. Is there any Titans players I want to start? I don't like Derrick Henry. I don't like... If there is one player I do like... Because the Browns' defense is really good as well. They're very much improved. I actually do like the Browns' defense in this game. Along with the Titans' defense. I think both of them are going to be very well. It's going to be a lower scoring game, I think. Because both defenses are pretty good across the board. Marcus Mariota, not starting him. Not starting probably any of the offensive weapons from the Titans, except for one guy, maybe two. I love Delaney Walker in this matchup. They're not very Browns defense. They're very good, but against the tight end, they are not that great. They're not that great. So I'll start Delaney Walker week 1 and see what I got because it's the tight end position. You unless you have the top 3 tight ends in the league in fantasy, you're not going to get good production out of them. So, I mean, and with no Gronk anymore, I mean, it's really just the top 3 now. And without, when those guys go, I just waited for a tight end and ended up getting Hunter Henry in a lot of drafts and then Mark Andrews in a couple. And Darren Waller in one, which I love Darren Waller. We're going to get to him later. But the Walrus is going to be amazing. But Delaney Walker, I like him. And then we saw it through preseason. And I really do think it's going to continue. It's going to be Marcus Mariota's new favorite target, Adam Humphries. Adam Humphries is a PPR machine. If you're in a deeper league and you say need a third receiver or a flex, Adam Humphries is your guy. Adam Humphries is your guy. I honestly think, don't be amazed if he gets 9, maybe 10 catches. He gets targeted about 12 times because Corey Davis is garbage. Sorry, Corey Davis, but you are, bro. I mean, you just haven't proven to me that... I don't know. I never liked drafting the guy. I never did. And last season showed it. I mean, even though he did have a good season, it was just... I don't like him as a player. But that's all my picks for the Titans and Browns. Moving on to the Ravens and Dolphins. Oh, I'm telling you what, start not every Raven, but if you have Lamar Jackson, oh my God, you are literally, I have Lamar Jackson starting in almost every single league I have, and I do like 10 of them, okay? I do a lot of fantasy football leagues. Some I don't care about, some I really, really do. But the Ravens, with the Dolphins dumping everyone off, I'm picking the Ravens in this matchup. First of all, let's get the pick out of the way. I'm picking the Ravens. No way I'm picking the Dolphins. Let me go through the fantasy advice and different stuff like that and matchups. I think we're gonna see Lamar Jackson finally have that game where he looks like we see the jump. We see the jump start, and we're gonna really see it this season, I think, because the less turnovers and stuff is what I'm meaning. Because he's got a beautiful matchup in week 1 against the Dolphins. Lamar Jackson does. So I'm starting him in all my leagues. I honestly see him throwing for 2 touchdowns and running for 2. That's how good this matchup is for Lamar Jackson. And then Mark Ingram, I'm starting him too. They go through the run game. They are a run-first offense. And the Dolphins' defense, other than the secondary, is garbage. They're terrible. They are going to run all over this defense. And then passing, am I starting any of the pass catchers in Baltimore? I'm starting Mark Andrews. I'm taking a shot at him week 1. If he doesn't, I'll drop him. No big deal. But I really do think if I'm picking anyone on the Dolphins offense, the Ravens defense, I also like them this week, which sucks because I'm playing a person this week and they have the Ravens defense, and I'm really hoping they don't get a lot of points. So Dolphins, I'm hoping you score some points, but I don't think you're going to score that many. Or just don't turn the ball over. That's fine, just don't turn the ball over. Do I like any Dolphins players? I don't like Ryan Fitzpatrick because he was declared the starter. I don't think, but then again, watch him go out and have that Fitz magic like he did last year and just light it up and win. But I honestly do think Kenyon Drake is a no. Kalen Ballage is a no. Who else do I know? Now, there is one person I do like, and it's Albert Wilson. I do like Albert Wilson. Because he's a slot receiver. The Ravens are not good against the slot. Last year they weren't. And I really do think Albert Wilson is going to have a good day. Out of everyone in the offense, I think he's going to have a good day. But we're not going to talk about that game anymore because that game's garbage. Next, we're moving on to a very interesting game. The Falcons and Vikings. We're going to see a very interesting matchup. I think this is going to be a pretty good scoring game because it doesn't matter what it is. The Falcons games are always entertaining. I don't know why. When they're facing somebody, it's normally a higher scoring affair. And the Vikings defense is going to be really challenged with the Falcons offense. We're going to see if Matt Ryan is going to just torch him, or is he going to struggle again? Now, my pick for this game, I want to go Vikings, but my gut is telling me the Falcons. My gut's telling me the Falcons. Because I think it's going to come down to a late score, and Julio, Calvin Ridley, Devontae Freeman, Austin Hooper. I think one of those guys are going to be the deciding factor. Because I think Calvin Ridley is going to be the one that scores the game-winning touchdown. I really do. Not my words on that. Now, going into fantasy matchups, Julio Jones is going to be matched up on Xavier Rhodes. Xavier Rhodes is a very good corner. But it doesn't matter. Julio Jones is matchup proof. You put him in any matchup, you start him. I'm starting Julio. Calvin Ridley, I'm starting him. Devontae Freeman. Now, I'm kind of skeptical not to start him week 1 against the Vikings defense. I'm benching him. I'm feeling a little iffy about him because the Vikings have always been good against the run. I'm sitting him week 1 just to see what I got and to see what he does against the Vikings. I'm probably going to regret that. Matt Ryan, week 1, if you have him as a starting quarterback, of course you're starting him. But me, I don't have him in any leagues, so I'm not starting him. So, I just don't like the matchup. Now, speaking of the other team, Vikings, I hate Kirk Cousins, but I like the matchup. I'm starting Kirk Cousins if I have him in my league. If you have him in your league, start Kirk Cousins. Stefon Diggs, you're starting him. Adam Thielen, you're starting him. Dalvin Cook, I'm starting him as well. I'm starting pretty much the whole Vikings offense because that game's going to be good. I like all their matchups. It's week 1. You don't really not like too many of their matchups. Now, the one guy I don't like, the tight ends. Hooper and Rudolph. There's just too many weapons there. And I know Kyle Rudolph's going to get red zone targets because he always stinking does. He steals a touchdown away. I just don't like him as a tight end because he gets no yardage. But he gets touchdowns, so I mean, if you're in a standard league where touchdowns are very important, I would throw him in. I would throw him in and see what happens. Same thing for Hooper. Moving on to the Bills and the Jets. Very intriguing game. But I'm going with the Buffalo Bills and the Buffalo Bills defense. I think Josh Stallion is going to run and throw for a touchdown in this game. I think he's going to throw for multiple and run for one and run for about 70 yards. That's how good Josh Stallion is. And at running the ball as well. It's going to be our first game seeing Le'Veon Bell in a Jet uniform. Robbie Anderson, he's injured going into this game. How much of a factor is he going to be? And Buffalo, we're going to see Cole Beasley in a Bills uniform. John Brown. No more LaShawn McCoy. The LaShawn McCoy era is over in Buffalo. What is the running game going to look like? A lot of question marks. But I'm going to jump into the fantasy implications here and some fantasy advice. I didn't want to do that. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm back. Hey, Bills and Jets. Let's start with the Bills. Let's start with who I like on the Bills this week. Love the Bills defense. I think they are gonna be an amazing defense. Tre'Davious White, and they did get another corner on the other side that's very, very good. That secondary is going to be amazing. Up front, all around, the defense is just very, very good. I honestly do think they're going to get one, maybe two turnovers in this game. And the defense is I'm going to say they're going to get a score. I think the defense is going to get a score. I think it's either going to be a pick six from Tre'Davious White, because he is going to be matched up on Robbie Anderson all game, or I say he was a rookie, Tremaine Edmonds. I think Tremaine Edmonds is going to get a pick six, or he's going to get a fumble recovery for a touchdown. I really do see that, because I love Sam Darnold, but at the same time, I don't think he's going to make the jump just yet. I don't think he is. So, I'm going to start with the Bills. If you're in a deeper league and you don't have a quarterback and you have Josh Allen and you're looking to just stream, Josh Allen week 1, I like him. I like the matchup. Start Josh Allen. I won't start any of the Buffalo Bills running backs unless you're in a deeper league, because I'm taking a week or so just to see what Devin Singletary, this hyped up rookie, and Frank Gore, who technically is the starter, does in that offense without LaShawn McCoy. But the wideouts, John Brown, if you're in a deeper league, starting him. Cole Beasley, I'm starting him. He's a PPR machine, and from what I saw a little bit in preseason, he looked like he's going to be Josh Allen's favorite target, and I like that. That tells me you're going to see a lot of targets his way, a lot of catches, and I think we're going to see the Cole Beasley of 2017, 2016 once again. Now the Jets. Jets defense, not playing them. It could go either way. I'm just on the fence with Jets defense. Tight end for the Jets? No, I'm not playing the Bills tight end either. The wide receivers. I'm not playing Robbie Anderson week 1 because of the injury, and he's going to be matched up against Tre'Davious White, who's arguably one of the best corners in the game today. The other receiver, Jamison Crowder, I like Crowder. I do like Crowder because he in preseason, Sam Darnold threw the ball a lot to him. He looked like Sam Darnold's favorite target. If I'm in a deeper league, I'll start him week 1. I'll start him week 1, see what I got. Running back, Le'Veon Bell. I'm starting him just because he's Le'Veon Bell. But he's going up against a Bills defense that is very, very good all across the board. I see him not doing as much as what... He's not going to make 100 yards. He's not going to do that. He's not going to have Le'Veon Bell-like day. And I'm not starting Sam Darnold. Not happening. I'll wait a little bit. Besides, Josh Stallion is going to be the factor in that game. So, moving on to the Redskins and Eagles. I'm picking the Eagles with a landslide victory. There's not a chance the Redskins have in hell that they're going to win. Now, the Eagles are a lot of people's Super Bowl favorites. Not mine, but they're a lot of people's Super Bowl favorites. They have a great defense. Just up front. Secondary, they're still a little questionable. They love rushing the quarterback. They have maybe 8-9 guys they can swap in that just rush the quarterback so well. Whether it's Cox or Graham or Barnett or just the list goes on and on. They have so many. They have so many good defensive ends and tackles and rushing linebackers. So, and we get to see Miles Sanders for the first time in a Eagle uniform. We get to see, I honestly do think we're going to see Dwayne Haskins earlier rather than sooner. I'm arguing the fact, and I think this may happen, that Case Keenum's going to do so bad that Jay Gruden's going to have to start Dwayne Haskins. That's how bad he's going to do. Now we're going to get into the fantasy matchups here. Not starting the Redskins quarterback, definitely. That's not going to happen. I do kind of like the running backs there, but I'm not starting Darius Geis week 1 unless you're in a deeper league. Adrian Peterson, same thing. Wide receivers for the Redskins. There is one wide receiver I do like. Terry McLaurin, I think his name is Terry McLaurin. But I'm not starting any of the Redskins wide receivers. Now, there is one person I'd like to start, and that is tight end Vernon Davis, because Jordan Reed is an injury machine. He gets injured all the time, and he's injured again. He probably won't play week 1. Probably not going to happen again. But if he does, you're starting Jordan Reed. If not, you're starting Vernon Davis, because Vernon Davis is the best target in that offense. He's going to be lighting it up against the Eagles. I can see 1, maybe 2 touchdowns for Vernon Davis if he plays. But that is all for the Redskins. And the Redskins defense, we're not starting the Redskins defense against the Eagles. It ain't happening. Now, the Eagles defense, starting them. They're my start of the week on defense. They are going to crush the Redskins offense. Now, it is a divisional game in the NFC East. So it could go either way. The Redskins always do play the Eagles hard. The wide receiver, the tight end, I'm starting Zach Ertz. I'll even start, if I'm in a deep league, I'll start Ertz and Goddard. I love Goddard. Or Goddard, or whatever the heck his name is. I love him. I actually have him in one of my deep leagues that I'm in, and I'm just stashing him. Because if something happens to Ertz, Goddard's my man. I'll start him, and I basically have a number 1 tight end. Because Goddard's just going to get all the targets that Zach Ertz got, and he can do the same thing Ertz does. Wide receivers, Deshaun Jackson is hurt. I don't think he's going to play. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, I'm waiting a week on him. Nelson Aguilar. I'll if you're in a deep league, I'd start him. Alshon Jeffrey. I'll start him in a week 1 matchup, but he's going to be matched up on Josh Norman. So keep an eye on that as well. Now the running backs. Jordan Howard. I don't know about Jordan Howard, but Miles Sanders. I'm starting Miles Sanders week 1. It's a great matchup. Miles Sanders, to me, is going to break out in this game. We're going to see it. He's going to have, him and Jordan Howard are both going to have decent games. I can see it happening. But the guy I'm starting at quarterback is Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, I think to me, we're going to see him bounce back this year. We're going to see him bounce back, and I think Carson Wentz is going to have, is going to lead this team and be like that MVP that he should be again. MVP-like status. Next, we have the Rams and the Panthers. To me, one of the best games on the schedule this week. We see the NFC champions going up against a team that arguably has just as much talent to go deep in the playoffs this year. In the Panthers. Is Cam Newton's going to be okay to play? Is he going to be 100%? They say he is. We see Cooper Kupp back finally. Todd Gurley, how's that knee look? I'm going to pick the Rams in this game in a close one. It's going to come down to a late field goal, and I think Greg Zuerlein's going to kick the game-winning field goal. But fantasy implications and advice for this game, matchup-wise and whatnot. We're going to start with the Rams. Jared Goff. His name is Goff, but I just call him Goff. Shout out to the Fantasy Footballers podcast, by the way. They started the whole thing, and I just love calling him Jared Goff. Jared Goff. I like Jared Goff in this game. I like both quarterbacks, Jared Goff and Cam Newton in this game, because it's going to be... Both defenses are pretty good, but I think both of them are going to put up good numbers. More so with Goff, because Goff has Cooper Kupp back. He has Robert Woods, Brandon Cooks, and Higbee just signed a 4-year contract extension. I like him in this matchup. Now, Todd Gurley, I'm skeptical, but it's Todd Gurley. You have to start him week 1. You have to. Don't be surprised if he does go back. You just got a great steal. Week 1, and he outperformed a lot of the stuff you thought he was going to do. If he doesn't do great, don't be amazed, because he's still dealing with that knee issue, I think. And he's just not the same. I honestly think he should just shut it down and get a surgery, get it done, get it fixed. But he probably won't. Now, the wide receivers. I'm starting all three. All three receivers. I would start all three receivers. Brandon Cooks, he's going to get his targets. He's going to get his catches. Robert Woods is a PPR machine, and so is Cooper Kupp. With him back, Cooper Kupp is his favorite, Jared Goff's favorite touchdown target. I can see him getting a touchdown and bouncing back and telling everyone, I'm back. Cooper Kupp is back. The tight ends, Higbee, Everett, I'm not starting them for obvious reasons. And the Rams defense, I'm not starting them in a matchup against the Panthers. Same thing with the Panthers defense. I'm not starting them in a matchup against the prolific Rams offense as well. Greg Olsen, I'll start him week 1. I'd start him week 1 to see what I got. Wide receivers, Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore for the Carolina Panthers. I'll start It's Curtis Samuel. He's a breakout candidate this year. I can see Curtis Samuel giving some good numbers. DJ Moore, same thing, but I think it's going to be more Curtis Samuel in this matchup. But then we get to my boy, Run CMC. He's the best running back in all of fantasy football, and you're going to see it on Sunday. Run CMC is going to run all over the Rams' defense. Even with Clay Matthews, the new addition, he's going to run all over him. And it's going to be Todd Gurley and Christian McCaffrey going back and forth. And then obviously you're starting Cam Newton as well. Now if he doesn't start, or he agitates something, or he gets hurt, the whole game script changes. Because Cam Newton is that offense. So I'm hoping he's fine. Next game, we have the Chiefs and the Jaguars. I think the Chiefs are going to win this game. They're my Super Bowl pick. I think it's going to be a close one because the Jags defense looks amazing. I think the Jags defense are going to bounce back. The Jags may bounce back as well. I love this game. I think this game is going to be an amazing game. And I do like the Chiefs, though, to win it. Now, for the Chiefs in the fantasy matchups and who I like, who I don't like, I know Pat Mahomes has the Madden curse on him because he was on the cover of Madden. But this week, I think I'm starting him. But I think he's going to have some problems against that defense. I think we're going to see it. But he's still going to have good numbers. Damian Williams, LaShawn McCoy. I'm not starting either against the Jags defense. Wide receivers. You're starting Tyreek Hill. Obviously. He was the wide receiver 1 last year in fantasy. You're starting him. After him, the Lizard King, Sammy Watkins. Am I starting him week 1? Yes, because they're going to be throwing the ball. Sammy Watkins, I'm starting Sammy Watkins. But only in deeper leagues. Because he's facing Jalen Ramsey, A.J. Boye, that secondary that's amazing for the Jaguars. Good luck. Travis Kelce, you're starting him. Kansas City's defense? Maybe, but I would not start them against Jacksonville. Reason being is because the guy I'm going to talk about here real shortly. I think Jacksonville's defense are starting them. Definitely starting them. But I'm a little skeptical in starting them week 1 because it is Kansas City's offense. I'm taking a week and I'm not starting them. But if you guys want to, take the risk. Take the risk. The tight end for Jacksonville, not starting him. I have no idea who even is the tight end for Jacksonville. Leonard Fournette. Starting him just because it's week 1, but I just can't trust the man. I'm kind of hoping he does really bad because I'm facing a person in my 1 league that has him, and I really don't want him to do good. Nick Foles. Oh, love Nick Foles in this matchup. I think it's going to be a very pass-heavy game for them. And because he's going to target his new best friend, D.D. Westbrook. D.D. Westbrook, the Heisman candidate when he was in college. D.D. is going to be... He's gonna go for 100 yards. He's going to score once. He's probably going to score twice in this game because the Kansas City secondary is garbage, and D.D. he looks amazing all preseason. They're hyping him up. They're saying great things about him, and he looks like Nick Foles' favorite target. And I'm starting D.D. Westbrook In every league I have him. Every league I have him. And the other thing I wanted to talk about too, the other receivers for them, I can see them stealing a touchdown from DD. That's why I'm not giving him 3 touchdowns in this game, because he's gonna get a touchdown or 2 taken away from him, from the other receivers or a tight end or a running back. So we'll see. Next we have the Colts and Chargers. Charged all the way. Charged all the way. If Andrew Luck was playing this game, I'd choose the Colts, but because he retired, I'm going the Chargers. I feel bad for the Colts because they were a candidate for a Super Bowl, and with Andrew Luck doing what he was doing, but he made the decision to retire, and he did the right decision. He made the right decision, but for his own health and everything. But man, bad timing. Bad timing. And yeah, the Colts, am I starting any of them? Maybe Eric Ebron, Jack Doyle. But other than that, that's it. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. The Colts, the only ones I'm starting really is, for at least week 1, is Eric Ebron or Jack Doyle. Probably more Eric Ebron. The Colts defense, obviously not starting them. Jacoby Brissett, no. Marlon Mack, no. T.Y. Hilton, I'm going to have to say no. And the only reason why is because I just don't think, man, he's not good without Andrew Luck, and I'm just skeptical as to start him. Now the Chargers, no more Melvin Gordon, because of his holdout, and him requesting to be traded. I'm starting Phillip Rivers, definitely in this matchup. He's going to light it up. Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson. If you're in a deeper league, I'll go Justin Jackson just because he's going to be their goal line back, I think. And Austin Eckler, if you're looking for a really good PPR back, he's your guy. I really do think that you're going to see some good points from him. And Keenan Allen, starting him. Mike Williams, you're starting him as well. Hunter Henry, I'm telling you what, I love Hunter Henry. I think he's going to bounce back, and you're going to see him return in a big way in this game as well. Now, moving on to the Bengals and the Seahawks. I'm choosing the Seahawks, obviously. It's a no-brainer for me. Obviously, it's at home. You're at home for the Seahawks, too. And the Bengals look terrible. No A.J. Green. He's going to be out for at least 6 weeks with that injury of his. And the defense for the Bengals looks terrible. So so does Andy Dalton. All preseason he looked bad. So this is going to be a long season for the Bengals. Now I could see that changing. That could change. You never know. But I do see that the Seahawks winning this game. Now, moving into the fantasy realm of it, the Bengals, the only guy I'm starting in the Bengals offense is Tyler Boyd, and I'm kind of on the fence about Joe Mixon. Obviously, Joe Mixon is such a great back. You're going to start him, but he's facing Seattle that just got Jadeveon Clowney. Yeah, I'm not taking that risk week 1. If you have a better option, you go with it, because I don't like that matchup week 1. They just got Clowney. You're at home against Seattle. They're always good against the run. Don't take the risk. Now, Tyler Boyd, I'll start Tyler Boyd, because he's the only pass catcher that's any good in that offense right now. Who else is Andy Dalton going to throw to? John Ross? No. And the Bengals defense, I'm not starting them. Tyler Eifert? Maybe. If I'm in a deeper league, I'll start Tyler Eifert. Andy Dalton? It'll be a cold day in hell the day I decide to start Andy Dalton over another one of a different quarterback. Seattle? Russell? I'm starting Russell. I don't think he's going to have this big passing game because of the next guy I'm going to talk about, and that's my running back start of the week. It's Chris Carson. He's at home, first of all, and when he was at home, he ran a lot better than away. And they're the number 1 rush defense or offense last year in the Seattle. They're going to be the number 1 rush offense again this year. They say they want to use Chris Carson more in the passing game, and from the reports, it says that Rashad Penny is going to be, or Chris Carson is going to be has pulled away more from Rashad Penny and more of the offense lately. So I think you're going to see a lot of Chris Carson. You're going to see a lot of run plays, a lot of pass plays given to Carson. Maybe a lot of gadget plays to Lockett, which I'm starting Lockett as well. I don't think Lockett's going to have a huge game, but I think he's going to have a good game. And DK, if DK's healthy, I'm not starting him week 1, but if he's healthy and you're in a deeper league, starting DK. Start DK, and Will Dissly. I mean, Will Dissly, if you don't have a great tight end, put him in. See what you got. Now, Seattle's defense, I'm starting them. They look exciting. And I think their defense with Jadeveon Clowney now in it and Ziggy Ansah, whoo! I'm telling you what, they're going to be rushing that quarterback. Andy Dalton's going to be on his back all day. And that's going to be fun to watch. I'm choosing, but that's all for that game. Next, we're going on to the Giants and the Cowboys. Is this even a question? Of course I'm going Cowboys. It is a typical Giants-Cowboys game. It's gonna be tight, like it always is. Now, going into who I like on the Giants in this game, no, don't like Eli. The only one I like is Saquon, maybe. And that's because he's Saquon Barkley. Not playing the receivers, not playing the tight end, and I'm definitely not playing their defense. Cowboys, Zeke all the way. Zeke is back. He just signed a new contract. He's more motivated than ever, and I think he's going to have a great game, great week 1. Dak, I'll start him. I'll start him week 1. Now, Amari Cooper with that plantar fasciitis, I don't think he's going to have a great game. I really don't. And that's why the other receiver I want to talk about is Michael Gallup. I think Michael Gallup's going to have a great game. I think Jason Witten's going to have a couple good catches to steal touchdowns away from him, though. Or to steal a touchdown away from him, because Jason Witten, they're going to obviously give him the ball. Obviously throw him the ball as well. But Jason Witten isn't a selfish kind of person giving the ball every play. So I think Michael Gallup's going to have a good game here. You're going to see him break out a little bit. And you're going to see Michael Gallup's emergence this season. Now, defense for the Cowboys. If you don't have a really good defense, I'll stream them week 1. Now, the matchup I'm kind of up in the air about is this one. The Lions and the Cardinals. I'll go with the Lions. And a pretty high-scoring affair. Both defenses aren't great. But I like Matthew Stafford in this matchup. The Cardinals' defense and secondary, if Patrick Peterson was playing, I'd say different. But Patrick Peterson's suspended. Robert Alford, who was their big cornerback they picked up, he's injured. He's not going to play. So there goes your top two corners. Who's gonna stop your receivers? Nobody. So that's why I'm starting that whole offense. I'm starting the whole offense of the Detroit Lions. I think Kenny Golladay is going to go off. Marvin Jones is going to have a touchdown. Kenny Golladay is going to have one, maybe two. And then carry on my wayward son. Carry on Johnson. Listen, carry on. I love him. He's going to have a great day. But that looming shadow of C.J. Anderson is going to be looming over him. And I think he's going to lose a touchdown and precious targets to C.J. Anderson. I honestly do think, because this is the NFL and veterans, I don't know why teams always give veterans touches. I think C.J. Anderson's going to steal some stuff from him week 1. I can see it happening. I can see Kerryon. Now, I'm not saying Kerryon Johnson's not going to have a great week. It's going to happen. Kerryon Johnson is going to destroy the Cardinals' offense. And, I mean, I understand Cardinals' defense. Did I say offense? I think I did. Defense needs much improved because they got T-Sizzle. They got Chandler Jones still. They do have a good front seven. But I don't think it's going to be good enough to start up that Lions offense. I don't know who. I'm not starting the Lions defense or Cardinals defense in this matchup. That's not going to happen. But the wide receivers for the Cardinals, Christian Kirk, maybe. Larry Fitzgerald, I'm starting him in every matchup. It doesn't matter. Larry Fitzgerald is one of the best wide receivers of all time. You can't deny that. He's probably, honestly, top 3 best receivers ever to play this game. Jerry Rice is one, and Jerry Rice is obviously one. But I do like Larry Fitzgerald. I do think Larry Fitzgerald could be the second best receiver of all time. But running back, David Johnson. Am I starting David Johnson? Yes. I'm starting everybody in this matchup. I love David Johnson. I don't think, though, in that offense with that line being as bad as it is, he's going to have all the running room, but he's going to have some PPR chances. He's going to catch a lot of passes. But Kyler Murray, this is going to be the coming out party for Kyler Murray. You're going to see Kyler Murray throw that ball all across the field, and he's just going to get the show off. And it's perfect matchup for him week 1 against the Lions defense, which I don't know if it'll be improved with Matt Patricia, but we'll see. We'll see. Next is the 49ers and the Buccaneers. I tell you what, I'm going to Buccaneers in a highest scoring affair of the game, 42-38. That is what I think is going to happen. 49ers offense, I honestly do think that you have Bruce Arians coming back. He's running the ship in the Buccaneers now, and they love to pass the ball. Obviously, he did when he was in Pittsburgh. I think, honestly, Jameis Winston's going to attempt to throw this ball 50 times in this game. I really do see it. And because they have no freaking running game, who's their running back? Who is going to run the ball for Tampa? Peyton Barber? No one wants Peyton Barber running the ball in Tampa. No one likes him in fantasy, I can tell you that much. But there is, the perfect segue here, there is some running backs in the 49ers that I like in this matchup, and we're going to get into them. Jimmy G, I'm not starting him. He looked terrible all preseason, and I think he's going to continue looking that way this season. He's going to show a little bit of the rust. He is. So it's going to take him a while to get back to the old Jimmy G of old. Now, the 49ers running backs, though. Matt Breida and Tevin Coleman, I love both of them in this game because it is going to be a shootout. Definitely going to be a shootout. I think both of them are going to score a touchdown in this game. That's a possibility. I think both of them will. Now, the wide receivers, Dante Pettis, he's going to continue to struggle. Deebo Samuel, I think he's going to get some catches. You're going to see some stuff for him. Marquise Goodwin, he's going to have a good day. I really do think. If you're in a deeper league, you're starting Marquise Goodwin. George Kittle. You're starting Kittle. It's obvious. He's one of the top 3 best tight ends in the league right now. You're starting Kittle. And San Fran's defense, you're not starting San Fran's defense. Neither Buccaneers. The wide receivers for the Buccaneers, the pass catchers, you're starting O.J. Howard. I'm starting Mike Evans, and I'm starting Chris Godwin. This is going to be a great game for all these people, except for Peyton Barber, because he can go screw himself. In the Buccaneers offense and 49ers offense. And then Jameis Winston, he's my sleeper quarterback of the week. Just because he's in a great matchup and Bruce Arians is going to have him throw the ball a lot. And this looks like it's going to be a shootout, to be completely honest. I can see some good things in this game. Next, we have the Sunday night matchup, the Steelers and the Patriots. I hate to say this. My gut wants to go with the Steelers because I want the Patriots to lose. But I have to go with the Patriots. It's at home. And the Steelers, without Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, I don't know. I gotta go. I have to go Patriots. I have to. But going into the fantasy part of it, Big Ben's gonna have a good game. I do think so. You're starting Big Ben. You're starting James Conner. I think James Conner is gonna do pretty good against the Patriots' run defense. But Juju, you're obviously starting Juju because it's Juju. He's going to be covered by Stephen Gilmore, and Bill Belichick always does this to your best player. His thing is he takes away your best player. That's what Bill Belichick always does. Makes you beat you in different ways. That's why James Conner, I think, is going to have an excellent game. I do think Juju's going to have an okay game, but he's not going to go nuclear. He's not going to go nuts. That that I think some people think he's going to do. He's not. Vance Dance McDonald, I think he's going to have a good game too. He's going to be the primary target that's going to get the most targets other than Juju in this game. And the Steelers defense, not starting them. Patriots defense, not starting them either. But if you feel comfortable starting them against Big Ben on the road, which he's normally not as great at home, do that. The wide receivers for the Patriots, tight end, I'm not starting Benjamin Watson. But it is the Patriots, so they may just target him anyway. Julian Edelman, starting him. Josh Gordon, I'll take a week. I want to take a week and see what he does. Oh, breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. The Raiders released Antonio Brown. What? We got to talk about this. We have to talk about this right now. The Raiders just released Antonio Brown. If you guys don't know, Antonio Brown recently got into an altercation with his GM. His offseason has been really bad. He's had, I honestly think he had a concussion last year. Burfict hit him last year really hard. And he claimed he didn't have a concussion, but I think he did. Because since then, he's been fucking crazy, okay? There's something wrong with him. The fact that what he's doing isn't normal for a human being to do. Okay, how do you go into a cryo chamber, which you always do, normally, and you freeze your foot. You get frostbite on your foot. Because you weren't wearing the certain footwear. Then, not once, but twice you complain about your helmet. To the NFL, you lose both times. Then, you get into an argument with your GM because I don't even remember what for. I guess because they're planning on fining him for not being at practice, but rightfully so. He needs to be there. And he got into an argument with Mike Mayock, of all people, and Mike Mayock is not the kind of person you want to get into an argument with. He called him a cracker. That, in any job, you do that to your boss, you getting fired. And he's just like, oh, they took away all his guaranteed money and made his thing week to week, which proper disciplinary action in any job. He said, he then, this last night, released two things. On his Twitter, he released, he just burned all the bridges. He released a video recording of John Gruden, his head coach, calling him talking to John Gruden, and him saying all this stuff about him. That's personal stuff. You can't leak that stuff. You can't show that off to the public. We live in such a social media-driven world that you're under the spotlight 24/7. John Gruden even says that in the thing. He goes, everyone's eyes are on you. Everyone's eyes are on you. He goes, just get here and play football, man. And he even said, do you want to be a Raider or not? And he even said, I don't know. I want to be a Raider. Do you guys want me to be a Raider? And then he puts on his Instagram that he just basically wants him to release him, and now he's released. Oh my God. No, how does any team want someone like this? This is like T.O. all over again, but 2 times worse. Dude, Antonio Brown is like the Wizard of Oz. He's freaking crazy. Like, he claims to be this great and powerful person. And then you just, behind the curtain, he's freaking crazy, but he can do all this stuff for you like the Wizard of Oz did. Dude, I don't even understand. There's something wrong up here. He had to get some kind of head injury and not get it treated or something, because he's fucking nuts, man. I don't understand. What kind of person goes up to your boss, calls him a cracker, and then the guy that pays you money to play for you, and you say, oh yeah, screw you, cracker, because he's threatening to fine you for not being at work? You work for him. It's just like at any other jobs. You don't go to work, eventually you're going to get suspended from work. And the Raiders were threatening to suspend him. The NFL were threatening to suspend him for doing that. And because of that, he burned every bridge and now he's gone. Watch him go to the Patriots. And so we're talking about the Patriots right now. Watch him go to the Patriots. I just, whoever gets Antonio Brown, you need a really, 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 really thick skin. You need really thick skin, and you need a lot of patience. That's all I'm going to say. The Steelers literally dodged a bullet by letting him go last offseason. And what's funny is we're talking about the Steelers and Patriots game, and this is what happens. Oh my God. Isn't that ironic? Anyway, back to the Patriots and Steelers fantasy implications, or predictions and whatnot. I love Sony Michel in this game. I think Sony Michel's going to have a good game against the Steelers, but I don't think he's going to go crazy. I don't think he's going to have a big, humongous game, but he's still going to have a good game. And then Tom Brady, listen, he's Tom Brady. You're starting him week 1 if you have him. But he's still old. I think with no Gronk anymore, I want to see if he does go Benjamin Watson's way, but because he always would go to Gronk, but with Gronk not there anymore, I want to see what he does, because Gronk was his safety blanket. With Gronk not there anymore, what is he going to do? So I'm curious how that's going to go. And then the last 2 games I want to talk about, which is going to be hilarious because we just talked about Antonio Brown, and Antonio Brown's team plays on Monday night. The Texans and the Saints. I'm picking the Saints in this matchup. I'm picking the Saints over the Texans in a high-scoring affair. I think this the over-under, I think this is at least going to hit over. Each team's going to hit 40 points. I think both, it's possible. Now, the Saints in this game, the Saints I like in this game, you're starting all the Saints in this matchup. Obviously, you're starting all the Texans in this matchup. Obviously, Deshaun Watson's going to have an excellent game. Drew Brees always does. Kamara, Duke Johnson, we're going to see him finally be a starter. What's he going to do? I'll start him week 1 against the Saints. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be fantastic. Kenny Stills, we're going to have to see him in this new uniform in the Texans. I'll even start him if I'm in a deeper league. Will Fuller, same for him. Kiki Cutie, they say he may not play. I'll be honest, I'm not starting him if Kenny Stills looks like he's going to probably be the slot anyway. Texans defense and Saints defense, don't start either. Don't start either defense. You don't want them. Now, obviously, Michael Thomas, Traquan Smith, if you're in a deeper league, you're starting them. You're starting the tight end for both, or Jared Cook, definitely you're starting Jared Cook. But that's enough about that. And if we do have enough time, how long have we been live? An hour? I think if you guys in the chat are okay with it, let's go over a couple of the big games in college, and I'll pick those as well. Might as well. In the last game, we just talked about Antonio Brown being fucking nuts. And here Antonio Brown's team is that just released him. I gotta stop talking about Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown is crazy. Okay, at this point, I'm going Broncos because the Raiders don't have a chance without Antonio Brown on their offense. Dude, Now I will say this. If you have both Darren Waller or Tyrell Williams, their stock just jumped, okay? Because a lot of people have been talking about Darren Waller. Tyrell Williams is now going to be a 1. Wow. Like, that quick it changed. Everyone's going to be jumping on the Darren Waller bandwagon now. And I'm so excited because the Walrus is here. The Walrus looks amazing in preseason. I think he's going to dominate against the Broncos. And Derek Carr loves throwing to the tight end. Look at what he did with Jared Cook. Threw it to Jared Cook all the time. Granted, he was the only good option in that offense. But you're going to see it here in the Raiders. And with no Antonio Brown, it changes that offense completely. Because now Josh Jacobs going to have to do more now. I honestly do think I'm putting Derek Carr down in fantasy as well. I'm not going to have him as high because he doesn't have a prolific receiver in Antonio Brown anymore. Obviously, you're not starting the Raiders defense in this matchup. Broncos defense, kind of tempted in a deep league. Wide receivers for the Broncos, I'm not starting any of them. Phillip Lindsay, I'll start Phillip Lindsay week 1. And Joe Flacco, Flacco, no. Just no. Just no. Don't give me any of them in that matchup. But I just don't know. I'll probably, as soon as this is done, I'm probably going to go get Darren Waller. In all my leagues, or Tyrell Williams, because he just jumped up the board for me. Big time. But what I'm going to do is we are going to go to NCAA football, and we're going to cover some games that I think, as you can see, some are going on right now, and I'm going to pick the top 25 games here, and then we'll wrap up. Penn State against Buffalo, obviously my team. Penn State's going to win. Ohio State against Cincinnati. I want to say Cincinnati's going to win, but it's obviously going to be Ohio State. I'm going to go on a limb and say Army beats Michigan. Iowa's going to beat Rutgers, hands down. I think Syracuse is going to beat Maryland. I do see Maryland winning right now. Utah is going to beat Northern Illinois. And I think, mark my words on this, Texas A&M is going to challenge Clemson, but Clemson's going to win. Wisconsin's going to beat Central Michigan. Nebraska is going to beat Colorado. Alabama obviously is going to roll over New Mexico. Georgia's going to beat Murray State. Washington State is definitely beating Northern Colorado. Oklahoma's beating South Dakota. UCF is beating Florida Atlantic. And then LSU in Texas. My friend Clint's a huge fan of Texas. But, and I know I'm going to piss him off when I say this, it's so hard. This is such a tough game. I'm going to have to give it to LSU. I have to give it to LSU because it's an SEC team. They're faster, more powerful, better. I'm going to swap my pick. I'm going to say Texas is going to get the upset and beat LSU for the win. But it's going to be a very close game. It's going to come down to the wire. I really do think it's going to come down to the wire. Auburn's going to beat Tulane. Florida's going to beat Martin. Oregon, coming off that hard loss against Nevada, I think they'll bounce back against Nevada. Michigan State against Western Michigan. I'll give it to Michigan State. And I think Washington is going to fall to Cal. And I think Stanford is going to fall to USC as well. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this live. Did not expect that stuff to happen with Antonio Brown. But it is the NFL. I'm going to get off here and go do some quick waiver wire additions. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure you hit that like button. And comment on your week 1 predictions. And subscribe for more. And as always, stay awesome, my Dark Knights.